What is going on, folk? It's NimbleThor here, and welcome back to my mobile gaming journey where I find and play a new mobile game every single day right here on YouTube. And today, I found something I'm really excited about, and it's a game called LaTale W, a fully-fledged fantasy MMORPG for both Android and iOS, based on the LaTale PC MMORPG from all the way back in 2006. Now, if you're a fan of 2D MMORPGs, or if you've just been around here on the channel for a while, you will know that I tend to love these types of games. You'll probably also notice that this game looks and feels a lot like MapleStory by Nexon, MapleStory M to be precise, because it really does. But the great thing about LaTale W, as opposed to MapleStory M, is that the monetization is much more relaxed in LaTale. That means we don't have to pay to get a pickup pet, for example. We also don't have to pay to get more auto-combat time. So all in all, the playing field in LaTale W is much more equal for both free and paying users as opposed to in MapleStory. Now also, the graphics actually seem more detailed than in MapleStory. I love the MapleStory art style, I really do, but LaTale has more detailed models, which I'm really greatly enjoying. As well, it makes the world really pop, truly pop. And thankfully, the controls work much better than in MapleStory M as well, so they're definitely onto something here. Overall, this game feels like a very high quality game, and I'm really liking that. Now, as for my character, I'm playing as an archer called Explorers in this game, but there's also a wizard class, a knight class, a warrior class, and you get to pick one of those during your registration process. Each class have 2 different professions that we get to pick from as we reach higher levels as well, by the way. So actually, there is a total of 8 classes if you count those subclasses as well. Now, interestingly, we don't have to directly put any points into certain attributes like attack, defense, agility, luck, accuracy, and so on. We typically have these features in MMORPGs because they add a lot of character customization options. But in LaTale W, we don't directly have these features, and this makes the game easier to get into as a new player. And luckily, there's still plenty of opportunities to customize our build, as we can go into the menu up here, then we can click on the guidebook down here, and then from in here we can hit the monster book to register monster cards that we pick up from simply killing monsters. And so from killing any of the monsters in, for example, the Bellos City, which is the monsters you see right here on the screen, we could also go have a look at the Elias City monsters, for example. But from killing any of these types of monsters, we get one type of card, which we can then spend on upgrading any of these monsters. And so as we slowly do that, we can, for example, increase the accuracy, as you guys can see right here on that monster. Each of these monsters have different attributes that they're going to increase on our character. For example, this one is going to add more health. This one down here is going to add more skill attack power. This one is going to give more power just overall, I guess. This one gives more intelligence, and so on and so on. You guys get the idea. So for example, say we wanted to increase all attacks by 20. We could do that by spending one of these cards right here. And this is how you customize your build in LaTale W instead of a typical character progression system. There are also some customization going into picking which skills to spend our skill points on. So if, for example, we go in here to character and into the skill tree, you will notice that we both have archer skills, but we also have passive assist skills. And so, for example, this Eyes of a Hawk adds extra critical damage, and this one down here, Good Day, level 4, increases the critical damage, for example. So we do have to make a decision as to how we spend our skill points. Right now we could, for example, upgrade this one, but we don't have enough to actually activate that skill yet. We need 6 AP, and we only have 3 AP right now, but luckily we get more of those whenever we level up, and then we spend skill points, SP, and then increasing the strength of these skills, such as I'm doing right now with the Storm Arrow, which is now level 5, which I think is the furthest we can actually level it up at the moment. So that's how you go about customizing your build in LaTale W, and I'm actually quite liking this system. Maybe just because it's something new, I've never seen it before, and maybe that's why I'm liking it, but regardless, I'm just really enjoying it. Also, as a quick side note, the many quests in this game have a lot of conversation and stories to them, and although I love reading all of these in the beginning, it just became too much for me, so now I just tend to skip most of it. But if you're into the story, there's lots of lore and lots of stories waiting for you that you can dive into if you want to. Now, there's no hiding the fact that LaTale W is an auto-combat game. In fact, while I've been talking here and playing the game, I have barely been touching my phone at all, only every once in a while to maybe skip some conversations or move on to the next quest, for example. And I know that will be a turn-off for some of you, but in my opinion, if you want to do an auto-combat MMORPG, this is the way to do it. This game has been designed with auto-combat in mind, and it means that the gameplay experience is still fun, and it's easy to spend hundreds of hours on this game Very, very easy. In fact, I've already spent a lot of hours on it, and I'm level 33 now, getting close to level 40, which is where we open up for the exchange down here, which I do believe is an option to trade items, sell items to other players. So I'm really looking forward to unlocking that feature. For example, random bosses will spawn on any map routinely, and unless you play manually, it's unlikely that you will be the first to kill it. So that's one example of the way that this game is designed that makes it nice for autoplay, because normal grinding, you can just autoplay that. But when something like a random boss appears, you want to be playing manually so you can go kill it immediately. Another great example is that while you can do most quests automatically, completing the daily missions and guide achievements often require active play. And these guide achievements I'm talking about, we can find by going into the challenge mode here. We can click guide achievements. And so as you can see now, some of them include, for example, evolving a pet in the inventory, polishing one gear in the item inventory, and so on and so on. So these are things that will help you grow your character and become stronger, but you do have to do this manually. Also, if you do decide to check out the game for yourself, remember to check out the many dungeons. We have both a daily dungeon, we have multi-dungeons, monster tower, and we have resource dungeons. They are a great way of getting new resources, more experience points, and also actually a great way of getting new items, especially if you do these multi-dungeons here, because if we have a look at the reward list, we can get nearly every single item we need from just completing these multi-dungeons. So absolutely remember to do those as often as you can. But even with everything we've covered so far, there's still a ton of more content we could go explore and we could go talk about, because as with most MMORPGs, these types of games have a ton of content to dive into. So to prevent this video from becoming all too long, I'll just quickly mention a few things I like about the game, and then a few things that I feel could be improved. So first up, I like the fact that we can actually craft gear and costumes and so on. We can do that right here from the crafting menu. We can also craft potions, we can craft costumes, we can even craft pet gear if we have the right resources. That's a pretty nice addition. Also, in addition to the normal ordinary crafting that we can do, we can also level up our items. We can both enhance them, we can elevate them, we can polish them, and then we can combine them. So for example, say we've got this bow equipped here and we want to level it up, so we can go into enhancement and we can destroy other items to enhance the current item. That's gonna cost some in-game gold. Luckily, in-game gold is not a huge issue in this game. We have plenty of it. So if we can just destroy one more item now, I think we might be able to level it up. Yes, there we go. And now it has 186 in attack instead of 170. Now we can also elevate. As I mentioned before, we can also polish an item. Now polishing an item is tricky because there's a chance that it might not succeed, and that might decrease its durability. There's a 50% chance, in fact, that it's not going to succeed. So I'm not going to do that right now because I quite like the bow we're using at the moment. But in addition to that, though, there's also the puzzle down here. Now, puzzles add random stats to our items. So for example, right now it can get attack between 2 to 5, skill attack 3 to 6, or it can get some critical damage increase. Alright, now it seems that we got attack increase this time, but we can keep doing this over and over again, and that is how you make your item stronger in LaTale W. Definitely remember to do this. It's gonna make a huge difference for how easy it will be for you to defeat monsters in this game. I also find it really nice that we have our own player housing. It's called My Room up here, and we can go into that and we can decorate that and we can go visit other players' houses too. That's pretty awesome. And I also like that the game is designed in a way that incentivizes us to explore the world by collecting different resources for crafting and so on and so on. But there are lots of ways that this game could improve as well, and I want to mention some of those so that you at least know what you're getting yourself into if you do decide to check out this game for yourselves. And those are, first of all, I'd like to see more team-based dungeons and party play in this game. We do have a party dungeon, but for the most part, we can complete it completely on our own instead. We don't need a team. I am missing something so challenging that we need to interact with other players to complete it. And secondly, we run out of inventory space very, very quickly. In fact, you guys can see that we've used up 67 out of only 75 inventory spaces so far. So resource management is going to be a pain in the ass in this game. It's a huge frustration, especially early on. Now, there is an interesting system for how you can actually expand the inventory for absolutely free. You don't have to pay, but now, as you can see, we have to wait 2 hours and 50 minutes before we can expand it again. Now, these expansions are permanent, so we will increase our inventory size over time, and that's why I think this is mostly going to be frustrating for new players. And honestly, I don't know why they would punish new players. They should have made it instead so that we have plenty of inventory space to begin with, but then we get so many more items later on that we feel enticed to maybe buy one of the in-app purchases. But in any case, that's how it is. I wish that would change a tiny bit. It's not the end of the world. The game is still great, but inventory management is a pain in the ass. And then lastly, the monetization. With enough real-life money, we can essentially buy anything we would need. We can buy the best in-game items, we can buy the best weapons, we can buy the best gear. and that kinda sucks. Most of the monetization focuses on cosmetic items, though. If we go in here to the shop again, we can head into the decoration shop, for example, and in here, all of this is purely cosmetic. So this is a big part of the monetization, but there are just those few items that we can still buy for in-app purchases, and I wish that wasn't an option. Now, with that said, though, the monetization seems to definitely be on the lighter side in comparison to other mobile MMORPGs out there. Gear is relatively easily acquired through grinding and dungeons as well, so at most, the monetization gives a pay-to-progress faster advantage, and that's of course frustrating as well, but it's not as bad as if you could get items through the cash shop that you simply weren't able to get from normal gameplay. So all in all, in conclusion, LaTale W absolutely beats MapleStory M in my opinion, and so if you're looking for an MMORPG that you can play actively but that also has some sort of semi-auto mode that you can use while watching a Netflix show, doing homework, working, and so on, then I can easily recommend LaTale. And look at that, that was actually one of the bosses that we actually got the second rank for, but we could have probably got the first rank if we weren't playing on the auto mode. But what are your thoughts and opinions on this game though? Let's discuss that in the comment section down below. And also, I would love to hear what your favorite MMORPG on mobile is, if you've got one that is. So let's continue the conversation down below, and now it's time for the mobile gaming news of the day, which is that Minecraft has now sold over 176 million copies of its game across all platforms. And if that sounds like a big number, it's because it really is a big number. In fact, this makes Minecraft one of the best-selling games of all time. The only reason we can't definitively say that it's actually the best-selling game of all time is that it's pretty difficult to estimate exactly how many copies of Tetris, freaking Tetris, have been sold. But yes, that is how popular Minecraft is. It has literally made gaming industry history, and it will probably forever be remembered, just like we all remember and know about Tetris. So with that little nugget of information, I hope you'll have a great rest of your day, and until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.